everyone, welcome to our lesson today. The topic today is present perfect tense. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to understand several situations in which present perfect tense is necessary to use. Use present perfect tense to create sentences relevant to your real life. So before we move to the new lesson, let's review. Last time you learned about indefinite pronouns, right? So here, fill in the blanks with indefinite pronouns, someone, anyone, nothing, anything, and something. Remember to use each word once. Look at number 1. There is in a closed basket. It's empty. So what do we fill in here? Yes, it's nothing. Number 2. I met last night. She told me she had missed you very much. In this sentence, what do we use? Yes, it's someone. Number 3. It's burning in the kitchen. I can see the smoke. In this sentence, the blank here is a subject, and it must be a thing. So we have to use something. Something is burning in the kitchen. Number 4. Is there to eat. So there are two pronouns here, anyone and anything. So we eat things, not people. So we use anything. The last sentence we use anyone. I won't tell your secret to anyone. Remember, indefinite pronouns can be used as subjects or objects. But pronouns begin with some. We use in affirmative sentences and questions when they are requests or offers. With any, we use in negative with a negative verb sentences and questions. With no, we use in affirmative sentences with a negative meaning. And with every, we use in affirmative sentences and questions. So now let's move on to our new lesson about present perfect. Let's see the forms. For affirmative sentences, we have I, we, you, they, and plural subjects plus have plus verb in past participle. For example, Mary and Paul have worked here for 5 months. Next, they have written 3 letters already. Or, I have worked here since I graduated from school. With singular subjects, we have he, she, it plus singular subject plus has plus verb in past participle. For example, Gwen has written that story since 2001. She has forgotten her folder. Or she has lived here when she was 12 years old. How about negative forms? We have I, we, you, they, or plural subjects plus have plus not plus verb in past participle. For example, I have not seen her since we left high school. With singular subjects, we have he, she, it, or singular subject plus has plus not plus verb in past participle. For example, it has not snowed this winter, or he has not walked to school. How about the questions? We have 2 kinds of questions here, yes-no questions and WH questions. With yes-no questions, we have plus I, we, you, they plus verb in past participle with question mark. And the answer for this question is, if yes, it is yes, subject plus have. If no, we have no, subject plus haven't. For example, Cherry, have you done your homework? Daisy answers, no, I haven't. For singular subjects, we have has plus he, she, it, or singular subject plus verb in past participle. The answer for this question is, if yes, we have yes plus subject plus has, no subject plus hasn't. For example, Cherry, has Tom performed his song? Freddie answers, yes, he has. With WH questions, we have WH words like what, where, when, how, and etc. plus subject plus have or has plus verb in past participle and question mark. The answer for this question is subject plus have or has plus verb in past participle. For example, where have you been? B answers, I have just been out to the supermarket. Now look at the contractions. We contract have as v and has as z. For example, I've seen that film or she's seen that film. With have not or hasn't not, we contract as haven't or hasn't. For example, they haven't washed their car, or Mike hasn't cleaned his house yet. We have known about the forms. How about the usages of present perfect tense? We use present perfect tense for actions that happened in the past, but the results are in the present. For example, he has lost the key. The result is he can't drive home. So in this sentence, we have the action lost the key is the action that happened in the past, but the result can't drive home is in the present. We also use present perfect tense for actions that recently completed. For example, the first picture, Mark is having lunch. The second one, Mark has just had lunch. In this sentence, the action has just finished. In this sentence, we also have the term expression just. Present perfect tense is also used for actions that started in the past and continue in the present. For example, we bought the house in 2000. We have lived here for 20 years. We have lived here since 2000. So the action live happened in the past and continue in the present. We have the term expressions here, for and since. The last usage is for life experiences. For example, he has flown a plane, but he has never tried bungee jumping. Have you ever traveled by plane? So, the term expressions here are ever and never. So, do you know why I do mention the term expressions? This is the answer. In present perfect, we often use term expressions together with the actions. The term expressions that we often use are for, since, just, ever, never, already, yet, and etc. With for and since is used with a point in time in the past. For example, since last week, since 1 o'clock, since Sunday, since April, since 1999, since they moved. With for, For is used with a period of time in the past, present, or future. For example, for 1 minute, for 2 hours, for a day, for 3 weeks, for 2 months, for 5 years, for hours, or for ages. How about already and yet? Already is used to emphasize that something was completed before something else happened. For example, she has already come. The plane has already landed. Or I have already done it. How about yet? Yet is used to refer to a time which starts in the past and continues up to the present. For example, it hasn't stopped snowing yet. With just, ever, and never. Just is used to refer to a short time before the moment of speaking. For example, we have just decided to sell our car. Ever is used to refer to at any time. For example, have you ever met her? Or have you ever heard this sound? With never, never is used to refer not any time. For example, I have never been to America, or she has never flown in a plane before. So now let's practice. Practice number 1. Choose the best answer. There are 3 options here. Has John, have Johned, and has Johned. John, the army since 2008. Look at the sentence here. John is a singular subject, so we have to use has plus verb in past participle. So we have to choose has joined. The next sentence. They to school for 1 week. Look at the sentence. We have they. They is a plural subject, so we have to use have or have not plus verb in past participle. So the answer must be haven't walked. The next sentence. I my picture for 2 hours. So the answer must be have painted. Look at the last sentence. You football when you were students. This is a question. The subject here is a plural subject, so we need to use have plus verb in past participle. Have you played football when you were students? Let's move to practice 2. Choose the best answer. In this exercise, you have to identify the action happened and the time expressions to find out the answer. Number 1. Carlos lived or has lived in San Francisco when he was in kindergarten. Number 2. Marisa went or has gone to this school since last year. Number 3. Alex left or has left for his vacation last Friday. Number 4. Willow was not or has not been at school since last week. Number 5. We watched or have watched 3 movies last night. Let's do this exercise in 3 minutes. Now let's check together. Look at number 1. Carlos lived or has lived in San Francisco when he was in kindergarten. In this sentence, the action happened in the past and completely finished. So we have to use lived instead of has lived. Number 2. Marisa went or has gone to this school since last year. In this sentence, you can see the time expression since and a point of time last year. So they are used in present perfect tense. So the answer must be has gone. Number 3. Alex left or has left for his vacation last Friday. In this sentence, we can see the time expression last Friday is a specific point of time in the past and the action is completed. So we use left. Number 4. Willow was not or has not been at school since last week. So the same with number 2. The time expression since and last week is a point of time are also used in present perfect tense, so we have to choose has not been. And the last sentence, we watched or have watched 3 movies last night. The time expression last night is a specific point of time in the past and the action is completed. So we have to choose watched. Okay, let's move to practice 3. Write the second sentence so that it has the same meaning as the first one. Use the given words in the brackets. Number 1. She started to live in New Orleans 2 years ago. Number 2. He began to study English when he was a 3-year-old boy. Number 3. I have never eaten this kind of food before. Number 4. I have never seen such an amazing creature in my life. And number 5. This is the best novel I have ever read. Number 1. She started to live in New Orleans 2 years ago. Rewrite with the word for. Before you rewrite, let's identify the action and the time expression. You can see that the action live in New Orleans started in the past and has not finished yet. And the time expression for refers to a period of time, so we use for 2 years instead of 2 years ago. We can rewrite as she has lived in New Orleans for 2 years. Number 2. He began to study English when he was a 3-year-old boy. Rewrite with the word since. In this sentence, the action study English has not finished. And the word since refers to a point of time, so we use since to replace when. This sentence we can rewrite as he has studied English since he was a 3-year-old boy. Number 3. I have never eaten this kind of food before. Rewrite with this is. So we have, this is the first time I have ever eaten this kind of food. For this sentence, we change have never eaten into have ever eaten. Before into this is the first time. The next sentence, I have never seen such an amazing creature in my life. We rewrite it with it is. So we have, it is the most amazing creature I have ever seen in my life. The last sentence, this is the best novel I have ever read. We use with before. We can rewrite as, I have never read such a good novel before. That's the end for practice. In this lesson, you have learned about grammar structures, usages of present perfect tense and time expressions, which are often used in creating a sentence using present perfect tense. So for more information, you can access on these websites. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.